Stan Lee has passed away at 95 years old. FYI to those who are reporting this. Greater than breaking news, mega threads, and mod posts are exempt from Rule 1 and 2 as they serve a separate purpose to the sub compared to regular posts. Not only did this man create an empire that almost everyone loves, but he was a genuine man who just loved to see people smile. Was really hoping he'd get to see Avengers 4. But at least he did get to see and interact with his creations on the big screen. His wife passed away not too long ago, too. A friend and I snuck into a premiere party for a movie. He was the highest grossing actor of all time if you include cameos and supporting actors. Seriously. There was a thread in here I was reading earlier on today about who you can't believe is still alive, and someone mentioned Stan Lee. I'm 40 plus years of age. I guess over the next few years we will see how many future cameos were filmed early, removed. Goodbye to a great mind. Since I grew up with superheroes and their ideas of morals protecting the innocent, ECT. This sounds pretty stereotypical, but it means a lot to me. I'll repeat in what I said in another thread but shortly. Damn, one last cameo in Endgame made me cry. Mods, can we please ban those "who is still alive" posts? This tragedy could have been avoided. I hope the children who fought and bickered over his money don't see a dime. The year was 2008. I always loved superheroes, and my childhood was filled with Marvel. I know it's silly to mourn public figures who you never personally knew, and obviously my grief pales in comparison to the grief of his loved ones. But this one, Underwater, really got to me. Stan Lee dying is like David Attenborough or the Queen dying. I refuse to believe it's possible until it is. I know I'm late to this ghost, but I met him when I was 17. I knew it was going to happen eventually, given how he was going on in his 90s. Marvel Comics were my childhood and even now are a huge part of my adulthood. You know, it's funny. Late diagnosed with dyslexia and attention deficit disorder meant I could have read at the age of 8. They should make Stan Lee's birthday a national holiday. God fucking damn it. I wonder if he already filmed his cameo for Avengers 4 and if they will include it still. Mr. God damn it, it's been 5 months and I'm still not over it once I see a post about him passing away. The guy created characters that served as father figures for kids who didn't have one in their lives. He has a legendary legacy that will live on forever. Damn, I really wanted him to make it to 100. He was born in 1922. I was a young gay kid that was bullied all the time. Honestly, a large adult male in his 40s, almost broke when his cameo came up in Spider-Verse. Especially because of why his character shows up and what he says. Heroic sacrifices are a weakness of mine. Stan Lee's creativity was inspirational to me for as long as I can remember. Years ago, right after Disney bought Marvel, my wife and I were visiting a friend for lunch at the Walt Disney Studios in Burbank. Excelsior. I remember his wife bursting out during an interview about how he would write poetry to her daily. Stan, the heroes you imagined may have been only that, but you used them to make the world a better place for so many people. The saddest thing about this is hearing the news of those closest to him trying to extort, coerce money from him. Every F is a Yondu-style Ravager firework in the cosmos for Stan. One day, when I was a kid, my brother and I walked down the road to the nearest gas station to buy some candy. Stan Lee was a cool guy. He taught me through his stories characters to be me. Stan deserves a funeral procession down the entire length of Madison Avenue, NY, lying in honor in the back of Thor's chariot, escorted by Spider-Man and all of his characters. He made my imagination soar. My dad, who's past 60 now, grew up reading Stan's comics. And I grew up like many children with the Spider-Man obsession. It made me sick how much karma grinding was going on over the legend's dead body. Man, this sucks. I've always liked Stan Lee's name. If it wasn't for his comics, I never would have picked up a pencil, found art, fallen in love with drawing, gone to art school, which led me to photography, which led me to starting my own business. You die twice. Once when your heart stops and the second when someone says your name for the last time. He lived a long life filled with love, laughter and bringing joy to millions. This is so surreal. I'm by no means a big comic book fan, but I've always loved the character of Spider-Man, and the shows and movies he's been in. I didn't meet him personally, but I was front and center at an intimate event in which he and Kevin Smith had a conversation about. You know we did this, right? https://reddit.com/r/credit/comment/9w92cp/comment/e9iwv2r Sunt equals JOERRJY1 and SH equals 1F369743. We're one day away from Endgame and the last Stan Lee cameo. According to my footlocker full of old Marvel comics that I refuse to throw away. Despite my girlfriend's protests, Stan Lee was the fucking man. My first SD Comic-Con, I ran into him kinda. FFS. Earlier today I was on that thread of "Who are you surprised is still alive?" and numerous people mentioned Stan. I lived for Saturday morning X-Men in the early 90s. The most heartbreaking part of Avengers 4 will be the part where they show the words, "Rip Stan Lee," at the end of the movie. I am not an expert in any way, shape or form when it comes to comics, etc. My boyfriend told me that Stan Lee makes cameos in the movies, and I remember the first time I recognized him. I was so excited. 95 years of good. I'm sitting here in tears. Stan Lee and his creations have helped me get through the rough parts of life. At least he lived to a good age. I went to LACC a couple years ago. It was the first year it was rebranded as Stan Lee's LA Comic Con, as opposed to Comikaze. Ultimate Spider-Man was the first comic book series one read and the one that made me fall in love with the medium. As someone who never got into comics or the culture around them, my interests rarely crossed over with his creations. But I still always got the impression he was a genuinely nice guy who was super into what he did. I went to Dragon Con with a friend in 2010. I hope that in a future MCU movie, there is a scene in With the Watchers where one of them notes that he is no longer on Earth because he was promoted. Excelsior. F. I'm for sure gonna ugly cry when I see his cameo in Avengers 4. I literally had no friends growing up, outside of the ones in my comics. Can we all take a moment to remember and pay respect to the awesome people we lost in 2018? Among these people were, and #200B. Greater than, Stephen Carl. Forever number one. Greater than, Anthony Bourdain. Thanks for the fun adventures. Greater than, Stan Lee. A true superhero. Greater than, John McCain. Thank you for your service. Greater than, Stephen Hawking. Amazing physicist. Amazing person. And #200B. Rest in peace. I had a thought today that made me feel better about this. It was the characters that he helped create that gave me so much entertainment as a child and even now as an adult. Rest in peace, you wonderful man. I hope they find a way to work him in some kind of cameo in the future movies. Quite sad Stan Lee was not able to watch Avengers: Endgame. I'd like to see an NCR. Chill, he just got transferred to another universe. Very few celebrity deaths make me pause. Man. I always sad that the day Stan Lee died would be a fucking tragedy. But I never imagined it would be so big. This really sucks. Rip Stan Lee, you will always be a legend. Today his cameo as one of the Watchers became a reality as he watches us all from above. You inspired me in ways I still have yet to understand. Favorite cameo by far was his appearance in Guardians Volume. I came for questions. It would be so charming if all the actors would get together and film like a 10-minute mini-movie, where all the characters attend his memorial and pay respects. Stan Lee and those he worked with created the new American mythology that most of us grew up on. am so sad to see this today. Don't forget to share, like and subscribe for more content.